Hey everyone, so welcome to the Big Movie Podcast. My name's Paul Morgan,
And my name is Anson Chan.
and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Creed from 2015 and Hot Rod from 2007.
Right. Oh.
Which should we start with, Hanson?
I would like to start with Hot Rod, if that is okay.
Okay, let's start with Hot Rod.
Do you want me to break it down?
Yeah, go ahead and break it down.
Okay. Hot Rod is a movie about a group of, I guess, troubled youths, but they're kind of actually adults, focused on one kid, a stepson of, what is his name?
Frank.
Fuck. You gotta, Mike? Yeah.
Stepson of Frank.
Frank. This character, Rob Kimball, is played by Andy Samberg, and his dream is to be a famous stuntman.
Yep.
It's revealed that his stepdad, Frank, who he has a really troubled relationship with, has some sort of... Oh, he needs a heart transplant.
Yep.
And so, Andy Samberg and his group of friends try to raise $15,000 to get him the heart
50,
transplant.
that's 50 people.
Oh, 50, excuse me. Not to, I'm glad you remembered because I didn't. But yeah, not to undermine the gravity and the sheer weight of the situation. So Andy Samberg performs at a bunch of different events and parties. Eventually word gets out through the internet, I guess, to an AM radio station who is going to put up a big show where he's going to jump. How many buses, Paul, do you recall?
16, I believe it is.
I believe that may also be true. 16 buses in like a phonathon. And...
Oh, 15
Long
schools,
sto-
sorry.
It could be 16, yeah.
I just looked it up on Wikipedia. It's 15. That's my bad. I said 16.
Oh my gosh. That is one less than we had originally thought. Well, to jump those buses, he's going to raise the money. In the end, he does and saves his stepdad's life.
And then, yeah. All right. I would call that a pretty good explanation. I would want to add in that the reason he is trying to save his stepdad's life is so he can kick his ass.
That is stressed numerous times in the movie.
You mentioned the tenuousness of their relationship, but it's based around a butt kicking that is a long time coming, you know.
That is true, because he can't be a man unless he kicks Frank's ass.
Yep, exactly.
It is made very, very clear in the movie.
One of the great life lessons of this movie.
You have to kick your stepdad's ass
Yep.
in order to be a man.
That's it, in a nutshell. Yep. So,
Paul,
what worked for you in this movie?
Jesus. That is such a hard question because I'll be perfectly honest, I did not care for this movie. There are very few things I can remember that I liked. I thought it was kind of funny how, like, you couldn't really tell what time period it took place in because it kind of felt like they were going for a 70s look and aesthetic, but they have, like, the internet.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. So that was alright. I kind of thought that was amusing. I liked the fact that Bill Hader was in it because I think he's a really unappreciated actor, although his role was very limited in this movie.
Yep.
I liked the performance of Ian McShane, who plays Frank Powell.
Yeah, the stepdad.
Yeah. And I liked the scene where Andy Samberg runs out into the kid's birthday party just completely on fire, and all the kids are fucking horrified and screaming as his friends like desperately try to put him out.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the funniest scene for me.
Nice.
Those are the things that I liked.
What didn't work for you specifically about this movie? This is what I want to hear because I know you didn't enjoy yourself.
Okay. We had talked last week about the grace in the writing and kind of like the film itself of The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
or it feels effortless and the things kind of flow and the characters just kind of feel natural.
Sure.
Nothing in this feels natural. And that's not like a Tim and Eric thing where they, like, yes, they went for it. But in Tim and Eric, like, if you guys know Tim and Eric, they're comedians. They had a show called The Awesome Show. They also have other stuff they work on, including the bedtime stories, which are amazing. The awkwardness that they're able to capture in like shows like that feel real to an extent. You know, it's just very hard to watch and it's awkward, but it doesn't feel forced at all, except for certain skits, right?
Sure.
In this movie, the whole thing felt forced. To me, it felt like they had a bunch of somewhat funny ideas that maybe they thought were hilarious, and they kind of cobbled together a movie, as opposed to having a movie. Like, the story was whatever, it was just more of a backdrop for them to kind of, I guess, be wacky. But the thing is, they weren't really wacky or funny. They were awkward renditions of themselves, just poorly written. And I think that's what bothered me too.
Interesting.
Yeah. If that's what they were trying to go for, they nailed it. But as something to watch, not only is it hard to watch, them being just more like poorly written versions of themselves, the flow is off on top of it all. You know what I mean? Or they try to force a joke. Like, in The Big Lebowski, something will just be funny. Even if you don't laugh out loud, you still get, it's like, oh, that was clever. That was funny. And you might smirk. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If you don't just outright laugh or chuckle. In this one, they try very hard to get it across that, see, this is weird. Isn't that kind of funny? And they make a really big point of stressing that, while also, I guess, lengthening the scene needlessly in order to try to get it across, which is kind of a product of its time. I think a lot of movies around this period really let the scenes go too long to try to be like, get it? This is funny. You're getting this is funny. See how funny this is because it doesn't, this was just kind of a weird thing that happened. It's kind of funny, right? And it just does that for way too long.
What? Okay, give me an example of one of those scenes.
Okay. When, what's his name? Will Arnett, who plays Andy Samberg's love rival.
Yeah.
Is crying out to Isla Fisher, the love interest.
Babe, wait.
Babe. Yeah, babe, wait!
Babe,
wait!
Babe,
Babe, wait!
Babe.
Yeah.
Babe, wait. Babe, wait.
Yeah, exactly. But that goes on for way too long. Because, like, they even know that, like, it's kind of, like, stupid at a point, and I get it. And it's kind of, like, amusing to see everyone just kind of, like, turn around and look at him while he goes, babe, wait.
Yeah.
But it just focuses on him, like, way too long after she's already gone. And then he just, like, goes into, like, one ridiculous, babe, wait! Because, like, he knows the scene should be over, but they're just making him do it too long. Yeah. And then it cuts.
That's so funny.
Like, to me, I get what they were doing, right? Because that was supposed to be an uncomfortable kind of scene that they made. But it was also incredibly forced. And that doesn't work for me. And that didn't work for me, rather.
Interesting. Now, can I ask you a question? I kind of consider this a challenging question.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were a fan of the movie Step Brothers. How is this? First of all, I love this movie. And so I am going to fight for it at some level. But also,
please,
I see it as very similar to the movie Step Brothers, which I love and which I know you love. And yes. I see them as being both written and performed very similarly in terms of tone.
I don't, actually.
Interesting.
In Step Brothers, you can kind of ease into the characters and kind of like get into that world, right? Even though they're kind of outrageous, the characters themselves, they're believable to a point. No one's acting like I'm trying way too hard to make this scene awkward and that's where the joke lands. They are just being that character, in a kind of awkward way, you see. There's a difference there.
Interesting.
No one is trying for that forced laugh so much. Will Ferrell, slides into that character very nicely. It feels the performance feels rather genuine. I was gonna say Steve Brule, and now I fucking forgot it. John C. Reilly, thank God. I'm a big fan of. John C. Reilly also plays his part very well. That awkward character that he just slides right into too. And it felt way more organic. It's more pleasant to watch. Now both stories are both inherently outrageous, which is fine, but it's far more cohesive as a movie as opposed to kind of like the Robot Chicken, here's a funny scene to a funny scene to a funny scene that they're trying to set up in Hot Rod. But also, it has been a long time since I've seen Step Brothers, and it's probably worth another rewatch on my part, just to compare the two accurately. Yeah. But from what I remember, that is how I feel.
Huh.
How do you feel about the comparison between the two? Why do you think they're so similar?
Well, the reason I think they're so similar is because I guess on a lot of levels, not every level, but I perceive most of the characters in Hot Rod to be playing like a heightened on some level version of themselves. One, Danny McBride is he plays the one character type that he is very well, and so he's obviously natural in himself. Andy Samberg, I'm kind of a fan of his, and so I'm used to kind of the level of ridiculousness of his Hot Rod character, but then at times he bumps that up to like a new level. And then people like Isla Fisher or people like Andy Samberg's mom, or even people like his dad or his stepdad to a certain extent, put in these really like, they're kind of the straight man in the plot. Like they don't get a lot of jokes. They mostly like get to look at how weird these people are, but they still put in like, great natural looking performances, I feel.
That's what made Frank's character so much better. He stands out more because he is a straighter character. He's not trying to be so over the top. I mean, his character is just that way.
Yeah, he's just like a jerk. But these
guys, yeah, he doesn't try to overact his scenes, right? But there's a couple good scenes. Another good scene, two good scenes I'll bring up that I forgot to mention earlier that I liked. One where Andy Samberg opens like the photo of his dad with Evel Knievel, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, it's me, Rob Kimball." Like that was funny.
Yeah, and he like starts crying and stuff.
Yeah, just way over the top, and then his like stepbrother comes in.
Get out!
Go away! Or something like that. Like that was funny because the scene itself set it up to be something funny, right?
Yeah.
That's where that works. But the problem lies... Oh, let me bring up one more scene that I thought was funny. The pool scene when they accidentally drown him, I thought that was funny too. Because that was something that was funny. It's like, if I ring the bell, then take me out, and then the bell breaks. That was funny. Right away. They set that up well.
Yeah.
But there are so many times when they try to make non-inherently funny scenes, and just not funny scenes in general, funny. By making it just, I guess, their version of uncomfortable, but not in a funny way, you see.
Interesting.
And it's not like Tim and Eric where the uncomfortability, or the uncomfortableness, feels natural. Like, you kind of cringe because this is probably someone actually doing something that they think is good, but it's really not. Where they know they're trying to be something not good, but it doesn't make the scene funnier, right?
Sure.
It just makes it harder to watch, and not in a good way for me.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm probably guilty of writing like this when I wrote MSG Live 2, if you recall. The great story of Chang.
Yeah.
But, was this their first movie by chance?
I believe it was The Lonely Island's first movie, yeah.
Because it feels like that. It feels like a first attempt.
Interesting.
Because maybe I've never seen any other ones from them, I don't think. Okay. But maybe they mellow out or settle out into a little bit more of like a found style, as opposed to, a worser version of a Rob Schneider movie where he just awkwardly yammers for 10 minutes in a scene that should have ended 8 minutes ago.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Interesting. All right. So what is your kind of final? What is yours like?
Paul, I didn't hear any opinions on your end though.
Oh no, I want to
Because
make sure you get to say all you want to say before I say anything that I wrote down. I mean,
oh yeah, I would say, if I may be frank and not, I'll try my best not to hurt your feelings.
no, dude, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. Just go for it.
Don't worry, I'm gonna put this real gentle-like, as gentle as I can. I really, really hated it.
All right.
I would not recommend it, but I would. This is, for me, I guess, a study in what not to do in comedy.
Interesting. Wow.
This kind of.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
No, that's amazing. That's so great.
This kind of. How do you say? It's the perfect embodiment on my feeling toward comedy, especially, this era was very popular for, who's that motherfucker, Dane Cook, who his jokes go on way too long in my opinion, and I just think he's intolerable.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he might have 20 minutes of material, but makes it an hour long just by yammering on and just be like, huh, right? You know that, right, guy? Just way too fucking long.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, this also wasn't like a study in freeform either, because like Dane Cook, I think, might have a leg up, and I hate Dane Cook because his is at least kind of like on the ball, like on the spot. This felt scripted in the worst way. So there's also that to take away from it. Not only is the comedy delivered, in my opinion, poorly in a lot of places, except for the few scenes that I mentioned, but the writing just feels really fucked up for what they were trying to go for. Because if they produce this in-house, like just each other writing it, I can kind of get it. But it also, highlights the fact that they're probably not writers and not used to writing. I don't know who the fuck wrote this. But either way, it was just a very unpleasant experience.
Didn't work for you.
No, sir. But I am dying to hear, Paul, what did you like about Hot Rod?
Shit, man. There's a lot of stuff that I loved. I'll try and make this brief.
No. I want to hear everything. I want to hear.
I love the Footloose scene where he goes off into the woods and punch dances out his rage. I think that scene is like one of the great parody scenes of all time. I love Cool Beans has got to be one of my favorite
oh my god,
comedy things of all time. Like,
it was intolerable, man.
See, to me, that is like a DJ Doug Pound skit, but
it didn't
in
belong
video
in this
form, and it was just so unexpected. And I just love that they just plopped it right in there. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is something I wrote down continuously in my notes that like was just so fucking amazing. Like all of these crazy, like big sounding songs, most of them by Europe, just like announcing this like character who's so not triumphant. It's, oh man, I love the juxtaposition there. Couple that with the fact that I love that every single one of his stunts, to a point, starts out with this like glorious wide shot of the stunt, this triumphant music that says like, we are gonna fucking kill this, and then in the same wide shot we saw before, just immense levels of failure. Like no cutting, like the first time he rolls his bike and just breaks the jump, and whoever did the stunts on that did an amazing job, because like
I actually like that scene.
That looked so real. And then like when he goes into the pool and there's just no momentum, and like all of those stunts I love so much because they give you the sense of build up, and then the build ups after a certain point becomes like, will he overcome this one challenge or will he fail at literally everything he does? And he never overcomes it. And I love that so much about this movie.
See, I can appreciate that in other things.
Yeah.
A lot of other shows, especially in other movies too. Bob's Burgers is a prime example, which is a show on, I think, Fox, and it might be syndicated now. That's they're failures too. They all fail in everything that they try.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Right?
Yeah.
So I got that.
Always Sunny is kind of like that as well. Just like
there you go. There's another one.
Bad failures who like can't really
who can't learn it, who don't learn anything, right?
Yeah. I love how janky everything that they do is. That's another thing I love about this movie. It's like they look like backyard bozo stunts because that's basically what they are, you know, because they're going for all this chump change and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What else? I'm trying to think of other stuff I really loved. I really loved Jorma Taccone. He plays Rod's little brother, who is like this enthusiastic, little timid kind of...
I liked his character too.
Yeah, he's like this timid, little enthusiastic kind of guy who like...
just along for the ride kind of
guy. He's like so enthusiastic, and he's so supportive, and he's so... I don't know. Jorma Taccone has always been one of my favorite member of Lonely Island, but he played that character so funnily. I don't know how to really describe it. That guy makes me laugh so hard. But yeah, and then as far as things that didn't work for me, I would say like the fight cutting was never quite what I wanted it to be. I mean, the fights look good for how kind of low budget this movie was and stuff, but also like...
Really? I actually quite enjoyed the fight scene, I guess.
Yeah, I think they were good. I just wish that like... It seems like in a lot of this movie they really overcommitted to stuff, and I would have liked if they would have either overcommitted to the fact that there were stuntmen doing the fight and just like clearly show them in some sort of like brazen way, like the way they would with like Kung Pao or something. Or
Zoolander.
Yeah, exactly. Or I would want to see them like make the fights jankier to accommodate for the fact that the actors probably can't stage fight that well. But I did like the pacing. Like the fights were paced very well, and they were, you know, they were cool. I just didn't necessarily like the way they were cut all the time.
I can see that, but I think for what it was attempting to do and how it delivered, I thought that was very fulfilling. You know what I mean? Because sure. I think I was the most engrossed in the movie during the fight scenes.
The very beginning and the very end.
Basically. Because the first fight scene was, you didn't know what to expect. He throws him a staff and just starts beating him with the staff. The way they're breaking stuff in the house, you know? Like, because it ramps.
This is just a really normal thing in our family.
Exactly. Like, that was, because you're learning a lot in that fight, as well as the fight itself, kind of going from just a little thing to escalating in a very unpredictable but very natural way, right?
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed that a lot. Even the last fight did too, with the surprise throwing star. I thought that was super funny. It's like, we threw a throwing star at me! It's like, that was funny. And then he like tackles him outside of the house.
Yeah.
And then when you see, what's his name? Chris Parnell.
Yeah, Chris Parnell.
Oh my god. Should we stop them? And like, oh no.
Yeah, this is just normal.
Let's let them work it out. Let them work it out. It was like, that was funny, right?
Also, can we acknowledge how great that radio character was for Chris Parnell to play? That's like his style of humor. Like that character was basically, I mean, I don't mean to be reductive, but I think that character was as good for him as like Dr. Spaceman.
I haven't seen Dr. Spaceman. I know his work in Archer and Rick and Morty and Saturday Night Live.
Okay, yeah.
More so. But
Dr. Spaceman was just a character he played in 30 Rock. He was just like a doctor who like over-explained everything.
See, I have to watch 30 Rock. There are two shows I need to watch marathon. One is The Office, one is 30 Rock.
It's funny you mentioned that. I don't mean to go on a tangent, but I just started The Office a few days ago, and I'm about midway through season 3 at this point.
Oh, nice, bro. I want to watch it too. We should talk about it.
It's definitely an interesting show. It's very different than The Office I grew up watching. So I'm enjoying it though. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's so interesting. You and me are like diametrically opposed,
right?
Yeah, because I know what they were going for, but to me it just didn't feel right. But for you, I thought about this too. bringing it back to MSG Live 2. Do you remember that one act? This is what I'm talking about. One act plays in Bellarmine. Do you remember Danny Voigt's play in the one act plays? It was like a play on plays, just like the people in the back, like the staging people, and they just have like a fucking 20-minute conversation with each other and nothing happens, and it's just so boring.
I don't remember that now.
It was supposedly super funny for all the stage people, right? But to anyone who's like just watching, it's like, this is fucking horrible. It was like, it's beyond dry and it's stupid.
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, bro, it's fucking painful. So when you're mentioning all these things, like, it's over the top, like the action scenes, the montage, and the stunts, I get exactly what they're going for, but maybe I just don't appreciate it because I just thought the stunts weren't overly try-hard. You know what I mean? It's everything around it that was overly try-hard.
Sure.
To try to be the parody of it, you see.
I feel you.
So, maybe you're the Danny Vogt fan, and maybe, I don't know, but I have no idea because you didn't see it. Because I just didn't get it, and it was fucking horrible. No offense, Danny Vogt, if you're out there listening in Radioland, but your fucking play blowed, in my opinion, because I don't get your shit. Excuse me.
I think we just established that I will not be posting this on my Facebook account, as
what?
He is prone
Danny Vogt
to
listens to your shit.
He is prone to seeing the things that I post. So,
bro, it's cool because me and Danny Vogt carpool together.
Nice. Okay. Well, at least you can be honest with him when he's not listening.
If you have a beef with me, Danny Vogt, there out in Radioland, you know how to contact me. Facebook. I would love to apologize to you. Time for my second beer.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. All right, so final words on it. I would...
No. What didn't you like, man?
Oh, that was the only thing I wrote down for what I didn't like was I didn't always think the cutting on the fights was 100% great. But, I mean,
really?
I am such a fan of this movie. I like just about everything about it. Just some last things I didn't mention that I really loved. Always doing those little like animal tributes before his big jumps. I thought those were hilarious. The dynamic of him always trying to be cool, but like it seemed like the movie never wanted to like portray him as a straight up fool. It was just like, this is just a guy who tries really hard and, he's just himself. I don't know. I just love it. But yeah, the cutting on the fights is the only thing I can think of that I like really didn't 100% enjoy.
Damn. Were we watching the same movie?
I think we just have different, reads on it. It's not, I don't know. I think that's totally normal.
Yeah. That's fun.
Right?
I'm glad we have differing opinions, actually.
Next time we have to watch a movie that I really don't like that you really love. We'll have to find one of those.
Oh, man. Have you seen Dark Backwards?
No.
Oh, man. That might be, like, my favorite comedy movie, actually.
Dark?
And it's not like, a normal comedy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's a fucking weird, bizarro, dark comedy.
Okay.
So fucking weird.
We'll have to check that one out next time, then.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. Like, that was so long ago. But in its time and where I was at in life, I could not have had any more laughs than I did.
Damn.
I think you might like it, too, though. Because you and I have at least similar sensibilities in terms of in terms of our, like, what we like for humor, for what we get laughs out of.
Sure.
We have a little bit of a darker streak when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
I guess just not in terms of Hot Rod. Would you recommend this movie, Paul?
I tend to kind of over-recommend this movie, mostly because I think The Lonely Island, in my opinion, is still pretty underrated. Like, they made this movie, they made that movie Pop Star starring Andy Samberg that I also really love, that was very similar in style, but different in other ways. I'm a big fan of theirs, so I always tend to like recommend this movie, but also just kind of over-explain why I like it, which is another one of those things where it's like I shouldn't be doing that, but I do tend to recommend this, yeah.
I actually forgot to ask you because I'm still curious.
Yeah.
Were there any final thoughts on this movie? Like,
Um, Not really. I think it did a lot of things really effectively that it just never ended up getting credit for from everyone. But I don't think, I mean, I don't think any of the points you made are invalid. I would just say final thoughts are I think this movie is highly underrated. And I think people should look closely at it.
okay.
That would be my only thing.
Okay. But, hear me out.
Okay.
Is there any last thing you want to say if you're trying to make me understand why this is your favorite comedy or what I'm missing in this? Because from
that's a good question.
what I heard from you, I get it, but like it didn't hit. But for me, to me,
That's a really good question.
What's the last things you want to leave me with, or say to me?
I guess I would say like
if we could do it all over again, if I watched it for a second time, like just be like, "Yo, this man,"
Yeah. Okay. I guess I would say like look at how the movie treats Andy Samberg, and look at how he's this kind of goofy failure, but with a heart of gold in some rights. And look at how it doesn't seem to ever judge him for any of his faults. It just shows you life from his perspective. And I think that not only is that like a good thing to be like, yo, this guy who's just out here doing his thing, just let that guy be or like coexist with him. But I also think it's good just to have like a movie where the worst thing that could happen is, like nothing bad happens. Like this is all like very low stakes stuff. And so like, I guess I find comedy in a lot of I try and find as much comedy in it as possible. And I see a lot of like amazing efforts, I guess. That would be my very jumbled final words to you on this one.
nodding my head in agreement. I say, okay. I hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to like articulate the way I feel, but also I think I kind of circumnavigated it and then kind of gave up. But I think I said some interesting stuff, I guess.
I agree. Shall we roll right along to our next?
Yeah,
movie, Paul?
let's check out some Creed.
Creed.
Just real quick before we go, we didn't say any of this. Hot Rod is directed by Akiva Schaffer, one of the members of A Lonely Island. It was written by Pam Brady, who has done such things as produced and written for things like South Park, Just Shoot Me, other things like that. And then it was starring Andy Samberg, Ela Fisher, Ian McShane, all those people. Sorry. I forgot to do the formal version of that last time.
I'm glad you did because I totally forgot because I suck at introducing movies.
Hey, me too, man. All right, so you were going to talk about Creed.
Creed is the 2015 darling film that the crowd loved and the critics adored, starring
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, whoever the hell that is. Is he a famous actor? I have no idea. I don't think I've ever seen him anything else.
Yeah.
So starring Michael Jordan, the famous basketball player, and Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
With cameos by Felicia Rashad. I think she was actually Creed's wife in the previous movies, and I can double check that. But let us not get into this. So, do you mind if I give the synopsis?
Go for it, man.
Creed is a movie about a boxer of African American descent trying to rise through the ranks of the boxing world. His father is revealed to be Apollo Creed, the one-time world champion boxer who was dethroned by Rocky, played by Sylvester Stallone. As an illegitimate child, as I failed to mention, he feels like he has to prove something to himself and to everyone else in the world becoming number 1, 2, or just becoming a great boxer, and solicits the help of Sylvester Stallone to make him the greatest boxer that ever is. Maybe not that ever was. And he eventually goes on to take on the number 1 champion, some British guy from Liverpool who has anger issues.
And you will have to watch the movie to see how that fight turns out. All right,
Okay.
so
We gotta get into spoilers though.
yeah, we will.
I do want to compare it to the other Rocky, especially Rocky 1.
Okay,
Paul,
go ahead.
please tell me what you thought about Creed.
General thoughts were I liked the movie. I thought it was endearing. I really found myself rooting a lot for Michael B. Jordan's character. I want to say for the record that I think the name Adonis is ridiculous, and I wish they would have named him something else, like literally anything else, but that's fine. I thought the fights were impeccably shot, very gorgeously choreographed. They looked amazing. Sylvester Stallone did a fine job acting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would necessarily call it Oscar acting, even though I know he did get an Oscar, I believe.
Did he?
He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He did not win. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that was an Oscar-worthy performance.
Agreed.
But I thought the acting was for the most part great, and they did a great job of raising the stakes. I've got to admit, this is only my second boxing movie I've ever seen.
Oh my God! What was your other one?
It was the one with Batman and Mark Wahlberg. I believe it was called The Fighter.
Oh, I thought you were actually talking about Batman versus Superman.
No.
I was called, you fucking zinged me.
It was called The Fighter from 2010. It was a David O. Russell movie. So yeah, I'm not super familiar with fighting movies, but I like this one a lot.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, those are kind of my general thoughts. Things that didn't work for me, it was a little bit too long for my taste.
I agree.
I tend to if something's drawing out, they were prepping for a long time,
Yep.
You prep,
too long.
and then you pick Sylvester Stallone's brain, then you prep, then you pick his brain. I could have maybe used one fewer of each of those two scenes,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, other than that, I thought it was good, man. I really enjoyed the heck out of it.
Interesting.
I don't know anything about Rocky, and yet people who love Rocky around me tell me that this was a great next movie in the series. So I really like that this guy was able to do an homage that was also, original in its own right.
Cool.
Yeah. What worked for you in this flick?
Well, first of all, I'd like to paraphrase. Not paraphrase. I'd like to first mention, I wanted to see this movie because I heard it was super duper good. Mm-hmm. The fans loved it. The critics loved it. Rotten Tomatoes score was great. Oscar nominated. I thought, wow, a boxing picture with old Rocky and a young Creed. This could be super cool. And it was something I wanted to watch, but never really took the time out to watch.
Yeah.
So I was really jazzed to watch this movie, and I found it to be a really big letdown.
Interesting.
In so many ways. And I didn't know that you'd never seen another boxing or fighting movie. I had seen Rockies 1 through 4, and $1 Million Baby, as well as a number of other kung fu movies.
Oh, I've seen $1 Million Baby, and I watch kung fu movies, so I'll just...
Dude, $1 Million Baby was great.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, it's a forgettable one, but it's good.
So I guess I've seen a lot of fight stuff.
This movie felt so hollow. It felt too try-hard. I really didn't like this movie. I will agree with you. The fights were awesome. I liked whenever they showed the fighter in line or whoever, they had a pause, a dramatic pause, and they showed his stats looking all official next to him as he looks at the camera. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool. It was a very nice touch.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things I liked in the movie, but my fucking God, did I really not enjoy this movie. I just wanted it to be fucking over. Things that worked for me again would be The fights. The fights were pretty good.
The fights were awesome. Yeah, I thought they were great.
Yeah. I think it was shot better than the original Rockies, but I think the Rocky fights, I felt there was more at stake, and there's a lot more investment you could put into them.
Sure.
As I said with Hot Rod, I was most engaged during the fights, obviously, of course, it's a boxing movie, but I never felt like there was anything to lose here, you know? I really didn't give a shit about Creed. Like, as soon as they introduce him, not as young Creed, who's in juvie fighting kids, but working in an office, he's rich, he bets his fucking, like, what was it, Lamborghini, or his Ferrari, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I could give two shits about, I'm trying not to be the rich boy, whole facade, or not the whole act, the spoiled kid throwing a tantrum. He wasn't spoiled, obviously. And they make it they try to make it super, super clear when he's like, where were you when I was in juvie? Where were you when I was hungry? I was like, yeah. I get it. But you're trying to drive that home too much while also showing a lot of contradictory things. You living in your mansion your whole life, having a Ferrari to just bet away on one fight.
Yeah, I did think they kind of glossed over how easy he threw off the wealth thing, or like the acquired comfort thing.
Yeah.
I do agree about that. That was definitely something I thought was interesting.
I think that really killed it for me, because there was no investment. He got everything he wanted. Even when he was like soliciting Rocky for help, getting the girl, nothing came hard. Even his fights didn't come hard. His training didn't come hard. It was fucking easy mode for this guy the whole way through. And I'm supposed to feel bad for like his reputation as a boxer. Give me a fucking break. You know what I mean? Everything is too easy. Even the training was too easy. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, definitely.
His low points felt very forced. Where he had to underplay his like I don't know how to fight parts, and then just being normal, him just fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I didn't really think about that too much.
Oh, it drove me crazy. And have you seen Godfather 3?
Yeah.
The girl they got to play, Michael Corleone? Who's Al Pacino's character?
Michael. Yeah.
The girl who got to play Michael Corleone's daughter
Sophia
was
Coppola.
so bad it tanked the movie. Oh my god. She's horrible. Like, you say her name and all of a sudden I remember. Like, oh my god. The girl in this movie was that to me. It was just like,
really?
Every scene she was in destroyed it. Like, not only was she a horrible actress, they also emphasized their fucking dialogue, like, what should have been a 2-minute conversation became a 20-minute conversation, and they gave her too many speaking lines, and it was like, you're terrible. Like, everything you do is offensive to me, because you suck as an actress.
Oh.
I hated her performance. Like, nothing felt right.
I maybe had some issues with the writing of her character, but her performance didn't really stand out as being especially bad to me.
Her introductory
I just didn't like that they tried to write in all the extra stuff about like her being a singer, him going to her shows. I guess what I'm getting at is that I'm kind of trying to get over the like there needs to be a love story that a lot of like Hollywood movies have. I don't think that that's a very, you don't need, I think a lot of movies just put that in there to raise stakes.
Because they were trying to echo Rocky and Rocky 1 especially. Yeah. They're trying to make Rocky 1 without any of the heart. And if you've seen Rocky 1, you get it right away. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay.
Because Rocky was like, I grew up on the streets kind of like, I'm a tough kid, but I'm like a dumb soft heart inside, and I meet this really nice girl kind of thing. They had that down to a T. This one is, I'm some rich dude. This girl already kind of likes me, who, by the way, is a terrible actress. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like, bombs every single one of her scenes. Not bombs. Nukes every single one of her scenes.
Man.
Like, oh my god.
You just need to get a better taste of her. You should go see Dear White People, because she is excellent in that movie.
I don't think that's written for me, Paul.
It's not written for me either, but I like the heck out of it.
I was just kidding. Uh, um, but okay, not to dwell on her anymore
Okay.
because I agree with you too. I felt that the whole thing was forced. Oh god, just fucking terrible. I did like the fact that they did have a sex scene. Spoiler alert, because
Uh,
that felt right. Like that's what should have happened. In Rocky, I don't think it's ever explicit. I don't remember. But it felt like it needed to happen in this movie with today's modern sensibility. They're both young kids. You know what I mean? They
sure.
gotta bang it out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I appreciated the fact that they took the time to actually include that. But there was really no memorable characters. Like, oh, if I asked you, what was Creed, what defined Creed? Like, one word, what's Creed?
Uh,
Or two words, two
he's like
words.
ambitious.
Whatever. Like,
I don't know.
I know, it's
What's the
fucking
answer you're
hard.
looking for?
These characters don't stand out. Rocky 1 had great characters. Rocky was a fucking, the underdog going for the champion. His coach, amazing character. To this day, he is still spoofed. You gotta eat lightning and shit thunder or whatever. You know what I mean? Like everything. Like he's just so memorable. That hard ass Irish motherfucking coach. Like great personality. Creed, the Muhammad Ali kind of like I am bigger than life. Kind of character. Amazing, right? Also memorable. Adrian, even just the soft, love of his life kind of thing. It was perfect. None of these characters are any of that in this movie. Even Rocky felt forced as old man Rocky, right? Like there were moments where it worked for me for Rocky, but everyone else died. What else did I like? I don't know. I guess I liked the I liked the fighting. Like the camera work in the fights were amazing. The way he just kept moving around. It felt very fluid. The hits looked real, which has
Yeah,
always
there
been
were
a good
so
thing
many
about
amazing looking hits, man. Ugh.
like when their like sweat splashes off. Like it's like damn, it looks like he really took a hit there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like there were great scenes, but I can go on and on and on about everything I hated with this movie because, and you're right, the length was too long. It needed to be like an hour 20, if at most, because this was like an hour. I think this is 2:20, right?
Yeah, 2:15,
This was a
2:20.
fucking slog. Oh my god. Oh, one more thing about the girl, which I said I wouldn't mention.
Okay.
There are a whole 30-minute, not it's not 30 minutes, but for exaggeration's sake, of them talking together in the restaurant or something. I don't even know where I think it was a restaurant. Just
Sure.
shot, reverse, shot, reverse, shot, reverse, shot, reverse, shot of the most boring shit ever. Like, I get it to try to show that they're bonding, but it really feels fucking stupid, and the scene is going on too long, and oh my god, like, she does not believe her lines, and he just really doesn't give a fuck. Like, oh, it was killing me! And they made that scene so long to try to emphasize how much how they're getting to know each other. It just felt so bad.
Yeah, that was a scene I wasn't super jazzed about that scene either. It didn't seem to have
There was no point.
it didn't seem to have like a lot of chemistry, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that was the whole point of that scene, the 30-minute scene, to
Yeah.
show there was chemistry there. There was something brewing, something growing, which was love, but none of that was there.
Yeah.
Also, for continuity's sake, because I watched, Rocky 1 through 4, they established in this movie, like, I divorced Creed because he had an affair with me, says the mom.
Yeah.
When the fuck did you divorce Creed? Was that before Rocky 4 when he gets punched to death? Spoiler alert. Oh yeah, they tell you in the movie. When he gets punched to death by Dragov, the Russian badass.
Yeah.
Right? Because you were at the fight and you were crying. And I mean, when did you, or was it after Rocky 4 when he was already fucking dead? When did you divorce Creed? That is fucking bullshit. So immediately I was like, no. You know what I mean? I was like, no. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that might just be me. That didn't really hit me until they really emphasized the point that, like, I'm a bastard kid. I was like, no, you're not. My mom divorced Creed. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or not mom, She divorced Creed. My mom was some whore, whatever. I don't know. Oh, and the last scene when the champion of the world, because they try to do the whole Apollo Creed scene, when like Creed has this newfound respect for Rocky because it's supposed to be his easy fight, but it turned into like the fight of his life, minus the drag-off fight where he actually dies in the fight of his life. You know what I mean? Like, he goes, "You're a real great fighter. You're the future of the ring. I think you, I believe in you." Like some Beatles bullshit. Like,
damn, you've really been practicing your Beatles accent.
But he does the whole Beatles thing of like, you're the next in line. You know, it's just oh fuck, man. I didn't feel like it established in the fight that they get a whole found respect for each other. Not at all. They show the coaches talking about strategy, right? There was no development in the fight that like I'm gaining an appreciation for this guy or why won't this guy go down? There was none of that, right? And all of a sudden it's like, you're the future of the league or whatever. Give me a fucking break. That they just needed that for the whole parallel of Apollo Creed thing.
Yeah.
You know? Because also in Rocky 1, Rocky loses. In Rocky 2 he becomes a champion, right? It felt so bad. Like, oh my god.
I wonder, do you know what this movie was rated? It's rated
Bro! Oh.
PG-13?
I thought you meant like, ratings. It was PG-13.
Yeah, so I think if I can
showed them
maybe...
fucking. It's a PG-13 movie? That just blows my mind.
I don't know. It was PG-13. One thing I'm wondering, because of all this stuff you're mentioning, is I wonder if maybe some of that more feel-good stuff, maybe they put in there to make it slightly more family-friendly. Because I know that, like, I guess my perception of the movie Rocky, or like the series Rocky, revolves around like old guys in families telling people that they love the movie Rocky. And everyone being like, oh, yep, that's Uncle So-and-so's favorite movie. And everyone knows it. And so I figured this is like trying to make Rocky more of like a family affair maybe. So they put in some of the feel-good stuff in there, you know, get people feeling positive after the big loss. Spoiler, I guess.
Oh, there we go.
You know,
I also spoiled it way earlier.
Maybe that's what happened right there.
Okay. I definitely
that's
see
me giving
and
them the
understand
benefit
that.
of the doubt.
See, Rocky, or Balboa, which is the Rocky movie that came out before this one, showed old Rocky, right? Take on the champion of the world too. Pretty Boy Floyd or whatever his fucking name was. And that was harkens back to old Rocky, right? Because it actually shows Rocky debilitated and old. Adrian is dead. Does he have that one more fight in him? Like, that was amazing. You know, that had the emotional tones that an old Rocky fan wants to see in a Rocky movie.
Sure.
This was a cash grab. And you're right about maybe they're trying to make it more family friendly. That is very, very possible. But that doesn't help its case either. Because I know a lot of people like the new Star Wars, The Force Awakens. I thought it was just crap. Like, it was just all fan service. And maybe this wasn't even fan service. This was just a dumbing down of the material. And not even well written. Balboa, like, Rocky did it. Or Stallone had a few really good scenes. When he's like, his scene in the locker room, when he reveals to Creed he has cancer, that felt good. Like, I was like, oh damn. And I was like, I already fought my fights. Who am I going to spend one extra day with? Not Adrian, you know.
Yeah.
All the ones I love are gone. Like, I was like, damn, you know. That felt good. But everything
that's him in a way being
after
like,
that felt bad.
That's him being like, you guys are taking a hold of this franchise from now on.
But it should have been that. Because he's like, you know, you inspired me to fight. You know, I'm going to get treatment and everything. No. Let Rocky die. Let this be a very noble death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's now doing everything he said that he wouldn't do because it just kind of ruins the point. Because, I don't know, man. Then Creed's whole tantrum after that when he punches a dude and goes to jail just felt fucking horrible. Hey, son of Creed, don't you call me that. Bam, bam, bam. You know, I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, that all felt so forced. Just nothing felt right in this movie to me.
Yeah, I wonder what that feeling is a product of.
Which feeling?
The feeling of something being forced, you know? because there's like so many things that have to come together, right, for this to work out. So it's
I
like,
think the biggest part was just I didn't believe the characters, and the world didn't get me. There were things that were obviously hammed in there for no reason, and there were so many things that took you out of it that when they actually, there are just too many things that take you out of it to really let me suspend my disbelief and kind of settle into the movie and kind of believe this world. None of it was believable, and I think the main problem was the writing.
interesting. All right. So that was that written by the director, Ryan Coogler?
Yeah, it actually was Ryan Coogler.
So I've seen Fruitvale Station of his, which is really great. But he hasn't really done a lot other than that. He's done some shorts. Um, yeah, interesting.
Well, now that you've kind of heard my piece on why I didn't like it, was there anything else that you wanted to add in? Like, because I know I went on for like 20 minutes just now about how much I hated it, but
Well, I mean, yeah, I think you made some valid points. I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but I think that, like, I, in my analysis, I wasn't really very biting because of the fact that, like, I just, like, it was kind of a sit down and watch it and just try to enjoy it type thing. I usually try and watch movies twice when we do this because I like to think I'm at least moderately thoughtful when it comes to watching movies, but I sometimes, like, my opinion changes over like periods of time. I didn't watch this one twice. I just watched it the first time, and I was like emotionally invested enough to like forget a lot of the things that I didn't quite enjoy that you mentioned.
that's good.
Chief among them being like, Tessa Thompson's character. Like, I didn't necessarily think she did a bad job acting like you did, but I did think that like her character was a little bit unnecessary and didn't really raise the stakes enough to warrant all the time that she was used in the movie, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was fine. I just like I don't have a lot of like strong feelings, either positive or negative. The only thing that I keep coming back to is like, yeah, the fights were cool, and it was a decent enough, standalone flick as far as someone who'd never seen anything in the Rocky series. But I mean, like, I have some similar hangups to you, man. I mean, like the one that I didn't really embellish a lot on is like I have a hard time rooting for people that I don't relate to, and whenever there's someone who's like a rich kid with a bad attitude, despite the fact that they have, I mean, he doesn't have a bad attitude. He's just like, I just don't have a lot of sympathy for like the rich character who like will go out of their way to get everything they want and deny themselves the help that they have access to just because they're like stubborn. I don't like that.
He moves into his new apartment with like fresh kicks and like bows and everything.
Yeah, and it was like I didn't really relate to him on that level, so it was kind of hard to root for him sometimes. But also, like, there were times where he seemed to really show some kind of, heart or like dedication or something, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm on his side, okay. And then, he would make another silly mistake, and I'd be like, oh, come on, this guy's intolerable. So I mean, I kind of went along with the emotional roller coaster,
Can you give me a scene where you felt invested in his character? Because I don't think in this entire movie I ever felt invested in his character. I think that's the biggest problem. The main character, he never got me. Of like, oh,
No, that's a good point.
What was a point where you felt, you were behind the guy and rooting for him? What was that scene where like, oh damn, I feel for you, man, kind of thing?
That's a tough question because I'm now racking my brain and not really able to bring about any like concrete answer. So
see, I wish I would have asked you that before I went on my tirade.
No, but maybe it was more of a like it was a feel type thing that I didn't like see anything specific. I was just feeling like, oh, I'm rooting for this guy, because that can happen without reason sometimes, and maybe now that I can't really think of a good example, I guess I'm thinking maybe it was more of a feeling than like any real reason behind it.
Hmm. There were a couple moments where I was like, I'm not my father. I don't want to be Creed. I'm Johnson. There were a couple of those moments I was like, okay. But I was never invested. But that was as close to me rooting for him as I could get.
Yeah.
You know? Those are the only times in my memory that I was like, you go Johnson, not Creed. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so I got that.
I can see those scenes. Yeah, those would probably play the same for me now if I rewatched it, because I remember those scenes now that you mentioned them.
Hmm.
He's like kind of disavowing his name a little bit.
Is this guy a famous actor, Michael Jordan, aside from being in Space Jam?
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan's been in a few things. He was in Fruitvale Station. He was the star. He was in that awesome movie Chronicle, which kind of led to the disastrous career of Josh Trank.
Was that the one where they go to Narnia?
Lol. He also was in one of the Fantastic Fours. He's been in the Boondocks. Plays Pretty Boy Flizzy.
Ooh, is that post season? Is that season 3 or after?
Yeah, I think that was season 3.
Oh no! See, that's when they lost the main writer or the creator of the Boondocks.
He was in Friday Night Lights, which I never saw, but a lot of my friends like. He was on The Wire, which, I mean, The Wire is amazing. Yeah, so he's been in a lot of stuff. He's had a pretty active career.
I think him becoming the boxer in this movie was incredible. Like, if I didn't know any better, I'd think he might be a boxer.
Sure.
He just happened to be a very good actor. So that was nice. I appreciated that a lot.
Sure.
It's like watching... See, Sylvester Stallone never ever was a great actor until recently. You know what I mean? He was just always... You know, like...
Yeah, the Stallone
now he's
impression.
like... Yeah, now he's like, I am old and I was great. Like, that settles perfectly, right? That feels so natural. But before... See, he had to grow into his character.
Sure.
Even as Rocky, I could have believed he could have, like, maybe not have been a boxer, but he was never even a great fighter in Rocky. In this movie, especially the way they cut it, or the fights were choreographed, or whatever, it felt good.
Like, yeah, you know that they spend, like, all this time training these Hollywood actors to do stuff like that.
I don't think Stallone trained that much, you know what I mean?
For sure.
There were moments in the fights where, you know, his hands are down. It's like, come on, man. But, like, it still felt good, you know? Because his hitting the bags and just the training montages felt like, oh, damn. Plus the fighting, which felt good, too. I was like, yeah, definitely. This guy gets something, some sort of medal for just becoming the boxer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Putting it all on the line and having it pay off a little bit.
Yeah, so I like that.
All right, so would you recommend this to someone?
Oh man, that is so hard for me. Just because I hate it, I know the majority of people like. If it were me recommending to me, I'd tell myself to run away. But if it was me to someone else, I would say go watch Rocky 1 or go watch Balboa. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'd turn them on to the other boxing movies that are better.
Sure.
Paul, would you recommend this movie?
I would probably say I thought it was all right. Had a good time. I would maybe this is like straight down the middle for me. Like, I would maybe recommend it. I would like probably ask someone about their taste, see if they like Rocky and other stuff. It seems on Rotten Tomatoes like a lot of fans, you know, really like this one. So I would assume that means Rocky fans enjoyed it. So I would be like, yo, do you like Rocky? Then you might like this. If you don't like boxing movies, don't watch it. You know, I would kind of just be like pragmatic about it. I might recommend it.
Interesting. And again, I wish I would have asked you that before I went into my tirade.
I mean, I probably would have said the similar thing. Like, it's by far not a perfect movie. It's an interesting movie, and there's a lot of interesting stuff about it.
How does this rank in your movies? Not, you know, fight movies, but also like kung fu or like any emphasis, a lot of hand-to-hand kind of combat. How does that rank in your in your library, your catalog of fight movies?
Well, see, if I'm ranking those, I would have to, rank them only by the fights because of the fact that, like,
You shouldn't though. It should come together
but
as a
that's the
whole.
thing is, like, have you seen a lot of those, like, here, one sec. Okay, so, yeah, here we go. So, have you ever seen any movies by the Shaw Brothers? Produced by the Shaw Brothers?
I think so. Can you name one that I might know?
The 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, Master of the Flying Guillotine, all of these like classic kung fu and like fight movies, some of which were like the most innovative of their time, many of them very based on Chinese operas. Like some of these movies have some of like, even though I don't speak Chinese, like have some of the most like crazy overacting, like bad plot devices, like awful writing in general, but some of the dopest fights, you'll ever see. And so as a result, unless I'm watching like something like a Jackie Chan movie where there's like usually a decent plot and good fighting, then I can rank stuff like that by like the whole movie. But like for some of these kung fu movies, if you're ranking them as whole movies, some of the best fights get put towards the very bottom of the quality pile, So it's like I have to almost say rank them by fights. And in terms of fights, I thought this would be probably middle of the road in my, favorite flicks.
Interesting.
But
okay.
In terms of if it's like a full movie, it probably wouldn't be. It'd probably be like between the middle and the bottom somewhere. I don't know. Do you get my argument for only wanting to,
That actually highlights an interesting point in the way that you view fight movies, where you rank them more by the fights rather than the movie cohesively.
Sure.
I think for me, most movies have to fire on all cylinders, and I always think my biggest critique with movies is the story not coming together, or the character is just not coming together, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Or bad dialogue or bad monologues will just kind of tank the character, or just like contradictory writing will tank the character. You know what I mean? In Kung Fu, I think I'm more willing to suspend my disbelief because it's so over the top. But I feel like in a movie like this, it didn't go either way. It wasn't so over the top. You could enjoy its silliness. Like, I think Rocky 3 was the one with Mr. T, which is great. He's like, "Come on, fool! Come on, fool! What you got, fool?" It was really funny, right? And then the other Rockies had, they were so crazy and outlandish. It was fine. In Kung Fu, they're so crazy and outlandish, especially with the movie that you mentioned that I'm assuming have like with titles like The Flying Guillotine. It's like it's got to be something wacky, right? So you can say, okay, here we go. It's not trying to be both. It's not trying to be straight. It's not trying to be funny or like so over the top. This was trying to be straight, but with nothing memorable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So for me, it's on the bottom. In terms of fights, for movies that I like, it's not worth it to see the movie just for the fights.
Interesting.
Just as I would actually say, to bring it back to Hot Rod, again, sorry, it's not worth seeing the whole movie just to see the funny parts.
Sure.
Because there are really funny parts, but it's like watching Robot Chicken, where 1 minute of the 10-minute long show is funny, and it's just not worth it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, we have, looks like we had two pretty, different sets of experience this week.
Oh,
which I think was great because by saying the stuff we had disagreements on, I feel like we got kind of a better discussion out of it. So we have two flicks, Creed and Hot Rod, and weighed in on them a good bunch. I think it might be about time for us to say goodbye this week.
I agree. Old Mary Todd is calling, so I guess it's time for bed, as they say.
Giles Corey's being crushed in the backyard. That was horrible. I don't know what brought that about. Anyways,
the joke was too smart for my dumb brain.
No, I think it was just a stupid joke. That was the problem. That was our show. Thank you very much for listening, folks, and we'll see you next time.
I'm Anson Chan.
I'm Paul Morgan, and this was the Big Movie Podcast.
Bye.
Later.